class, I think we did with Lycopodium and Pulsatilla,
Yes.
isn't it? Yeah, and now we'll continue with the relationship that is Ignatia, Nuxworm, and Chamomilla. No,
Okay.
wait. Before that, we need to do Anacardium.
Anacardium. Okay.
Anacardium and Nuxvomica. Actually, Anacardium comes in the relationship of that given according to your syllabus, the Restrox, Bryonia, Anacardium, Arnica, and Rhododendron. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, last class we did Rhododendron also,
Mm-hmm.
and now we'll move to Anacardium
Okay.
because Anacardium has got some similarity to Bryonia and also Nuxvomica.
Okay.
So we'll go to Anacardium and then we'll come to Ignatia and Nuxvomic actually.
Okay.
Are you seeing the document, Farah?
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, before I start with Anacardium, see this was a symptom that I forgot to say in rhododendron. The sleeping posture. The sleeping posture of rhododendron is very characteristic. They cannot get sleep or remain asleep unless legs are crossed. And I was not sure to get some reason why it is so, but
Mm-hmm.
that's a sleeping posture they keep. So I had forgotten to add this sentence. And that's why
Okay.
over there. So this is for today. I just kept my name over today just because it is going to be recorded and people needs to
Nice.
know my identity before I say something. Okay, so Anacardium oriental. Uh, this is actually the common name is marking nut. Actually, we have two medicine, Anacardium oriental and Anacardium occidental.
Okay.
So occidental is usually the cashew nut. The picture I got is similar to
Oh.
that of cashew nut, but there is only slight species difference. So Anacardium oriental, it is actually called as marking nut, and it belongs to the family Anacardiaceae. The other one, Anacardium occidental, it is also somewhat similar to Anacardium oriental. When we take the most important features of Anacardium is in mind and also the GIT symptoms, the most characteristic features,
Mm-hmm.
also skin, and we can see almost similar features in Anacardium occidental also. But
Mm.
whenever we say anacardium, we don't differentiate oriental and occidental. Whenever we are saying, we just say anacardium, and then what we are presuming that it is anacardium oriental we are talking about. Okay.
Okay.
So the common name is marking nut. The other one, occidental, will be cashew nut. The family is Anacardiaceae, and it is the same family Rustox also belongs to. So all the rest group, Rustox, Res veninata, Res glabra, so many medicines are there that also belongs to the family Anacardiaceae. And you know, importance of Rustox on skin. Do you remember anything?
Skin. Rest stocks. No, I
Anything
don't
on
recall.
skin? Okay. Restrox, it's actually the common name is called as poison oak.
Okay.
And whenever we are going passing near to that shrub, it's a small plant actually.
Uh-huh.
If we are going to touch on it, leaf or something, it is going to cause some skin eruptions, like itching
Oh.
vesicles. It produces vesicles, and that is why this is very good remedy in fevers with vesicular formation. So a very best remedy for chickenpox during its vesicular eruptions. In chickenpox, we have got different stages. So when if it is extreme redishness in the sense the starting, the hyperemic situation, hypothermia, we can think about aconite in chickenpox. But very
Mm-hmm.
soon it will become vesicular, and when it changes into vesicular, it is the Rustrox. And when the vesicle, it is the small bubble with
Yeah.
full with
Fluid.
fluid, and
Uh-huh.
it changes when it changes into pustular in nature,
Mhm.
in which chickenpox will of course will be changing to. We can think about Merxol or Meserium, mostly Merxol. And then when it is forming a crust, a scab, and then to fall it easily, we can think about tuja. So that is the usual sequence that is followed in case of chickenpox.
Mhm.
But what I mentioned over here is Restrox is suitable not just for chickenpox, but all the diseases in which these vesicles are being found. And when we see anacardiaceae, in anacardiaceae also they have got skin eruptions, which is much similar to that of Restrox. Even anacardium can be given as a antidote to the Restrox poisoning. That's how the that connection it comes. The all the plants which belongs to this Anacardiaceae family. Have you seen a cashew nut plant? Leave oriental. I'm not sure about oriental, but have you seen a cashew nut? No, it's not a plant. Sorry, it is a tree actually. Have you seen that?
No, no.
Actually, when you are going to pluck this fruit from that stem, there will be a white juice or resinous material that will be coming out. And also, if you are going to pluck out that leaf or try to tear the leaf, from everywhere, little white resinous material or gummy material will be coming out. It will be very whitish. And actually, if we are going to touch it, or our body coming to touch with it, it's going to soon be itchy. And even it's not just rustrox, even this plant, all these plants will produce some resinous thing, this whitish thing, and that is going to burn our body if it comes into contact with our skin. So in my home, I mean, this is a very common tree in India, actually, in my place in Kerala. So in my mom's ancestral house, they had this tree. Not now, okay, when I was very small. So whenever
Uh-huh.
I used to go for vacation, we all kids will be the moms, brothers, sisters, everyone. So we used to pluck this without the knowledge of adults, but somehow they will be getting to know because we didn't know initially that this resinous liquid we shouldn't come into contact because it is going to burn over there and it is going to itch. So definitely adults will know that we have touched it or we have stolen
Ah.
it. And actually, this is very costly. I mean, it is difficult for us to get this fruit, but this is the actual cashew nut, the dry cashew nut that we eat. So we will get this easily wherever, but this fruit is also actually this fruit we can eat directly. It will be having some sweet and
Oh.
some it's sweet actually, but some type of burning taste also, but not exactly burning. Some different acrid taste. Yeah, slightly acrid acidic taste, but still it is very sweet. So we just eat it. This one actually the nut have to get dried, have to do some processing. Then only it becomes the edible one. The fruit actually we can eat directly from the plant, from the tree actually. So even this anacardium, it is what I wanted to say was that even this can produce that type of skin allergy, burning, etc. It is not just Rustox, but anacardium do have the ability to antidote the Rustox poisoning or the poisoning, the skin eruptions brought about when we happen to brush on Rustox plant.
Okay.
The preparation is it is from the nut that is used between the shell and the kernel that is triturated. So they will take it off and then it will be dried. It is the dried nut that is being used.
Mm.
And this actually undergoes some type of treatment, and then only even we also eat the edible thing. So the constitution of anacardium. Um, Anacardium constitution is often described as thin and physically weak. The people appear to be undernourished, lacking muscular strength and vitality. They get tired easily. They get tired easily, both mentally and physically. They feel drained even with minimal exertion. So, especially suited to old people and nervous, hysterical women. They have a pale face and blue ring around eyes, indicating anemic, and that we can connect to their undernourishment. Mostly right-sided complaints. Here we can see a similarity to Rustrox. Even Rustrox is also having the right-sided complaints. Uh, One patient with psychotic and syphilitic miasm.
Okay.
And you see this syphilitic miasm, you can see that mostly in their mind because anacardium, this usually we think, I mean, I have given up to now anacardium mostly for skin complaints. It's a good remedy for corns. So that is what we usually think about, but it is a very good remedy for mind complaints, especially schizophrenic patients.
Mm.
So ailments from checked eruptions, as usual, because it's a skin complaint medicine, and also examinations and mental exertions. So people who have studied a lot, like got exhausted or fear of examination funk, etc. Anacardium is one of the medicine we can think about. But however, when it comes examination funk, we have other medicines like Ethusa, Gelsemium, Argentum nitricum, and another one is Lycopodium, and also Califorce. Uh, so in anacardium, if I just make a small differentiation now,
Okay.
anacardium usually they are people with when we go towards its mind, we'll see they lack self-confidence. Schizophrenia is its extreme stage, but then they start from a very smaller level of mental symptoms. So these people we can generally see those who are having very less confidence on themselves. So they are always trying to prove something that they are very efficient or something. And for examinations, they get tired actually after doing this much mental exertions. They get tired and then they are scared to meet the exam, and that is basically because of their non-confidence in themselves, the lack of self-confidence. In Etusa, the people are generally the Etusa constitution. They are mildly idiotic. They will be having some nervous complaints or CNS complaints. They will be having epilepsy. So the CNS development is also very less, and because of that, they will be getting brain fag easily, and then they have the fear of examination. So here, unlike anacardium, it is not the self-confidence that is affected, but it is completely organic type, where the brain, everything is affected, and the child is or the student is having a slightly idiotic nature. That is in case of Ethosa. And in Gelsemium, it is more like Gelsemium and Argentic nitricum is more like the person is having some nervous complaints, but more than that, uh, they are extremely having stage fright, somewhat similar to Lycopodium. That's why Lycopodium also came over there.
Okay.
Like in Lycopodium, you know that last class you told that they will be having a problem with their confidence.
Yeah.
They won't be ready to initiate, or they will be having extreme initial fear or the stage fright. But once on the stage, they are going to perform well. But in case of Gelsemium and Argentum nitricum, we really are not sure whether they are on the stage, they are going to perform well or not. We really don't know. But usually, Gelsemium and Argentum nitricum is indicated in those persons who, before to the exam or before to anything they have to do, like they have to do a public speech or they have to attend an interview, they may have to like that. Some important thing they have to do, even it is told like a priest who has to give a speech, or someone who is going to give or sing on the stage. Anything they have to do. Before to that, they start a diarrhea, a sensation to diarrhea, and they actually wants to
Mm.
pass a stool at that time. So we don't see this type in lycopodium, that actual digestion problem, or they not digestion problem that they want to pass stool. This won't be there in lycopodium. It's just that mental feeling, that mental scare that is lycopodium having. But in
Mm.
Gelsium and Argenta nitricum, because they have nervous troubles also, the trouble with their nerves, it will be manifested in the splanchnic nerves, or the nerves that is being supplied to the intestines. So the intestinal peristaltic movement will be too much at that time. As a result, they will be having a tendency to pass to. And in real life also, would be able to see such people. I have seen. So then they pass and they come, and whether to do or not, we are not sure. But those people who complain to us that whenever they have something important to do, immediately before to that, I mean, maybe their name is going to come within the stage, the next person or something, still they want to run to the toilet. So that type of people, mainly we indicate gelsimum and urgent and nitricum. And califors are actually those people, I mean, it is also having a nervous exhaustion.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, it is mainly due to nervous exhaustion. We give califors because this medicine, as like a biochem, we can give to rejuvenate the nerve strength. Um,
Oh.
Especially like people who say that um, even in old age, they say some symptoms in which we feel like it is not the problem of the muscles or something, but a nervous weakness it may be, some kind of not pain exactly, but some sensations in which we feel like they need their nerves are becoming very weak. At that time, usually Califos is given, and it also acts as a good tonic because it is like a nerve tonic. So Califos can be given for the CNS complaints, especially the nervous related. That's
Okay.
why Califos comes. And then another one is picric acid. Picric acid, it is not a fear of exam. I'm not writing it over here, but because they don't have a fear of exam, they are actually, they have studied a lot. Finally, they feel that the brain has got uh, clouded with ideas. It has gone dull. It is not working now. Like that, they have completely blacked out, like because of too much study they get brain prostration or something. So they don't have that examination funk. It is just that they have studied a lot, and finally they are in a exhausted situation. At that time, we can think about picric acid. But generally, it is all these medicines, anacardium, gelsemium, arginine, nitricum, lycopodium, usually given. But when I was not practicing, when I was studying, there were students actually, I mean, my classmates itself, who used to run to the OP because in our college means we have the hospital, we have the OP and IP, like what you saw during your clinical study over there.
Uh-huh.
So students will be coming from the exam hall. I mean, directly before going to exam hall. It's in the same building. So they will be coming towards the OPD and saying, Madam, we are feeling that much or that difficulty. So offshoot prescription always used to be gelsemium, artemether, or even placebo. So can't say. So mostly what we deal with is gelsemium and artemether. Okay, I just told you how to differentiate this in examination form. Then going towards mind, as I already told, this is a good remedy for schizophrenia. So we already saw in the constitution, it is actually psychotic and syphilitic miasm which is lurking behind. So syphilitic means everywhere there is destruction that is happening, and schizophrenia means the person's consciousness has got completely altered. There is a destruction over there. So the syphilitic miasm is now on the exposed, or it is on the verge. So the main symptoms though will be confusion. The patient is always in a confused stage. Everything seems as if in a dream. Symptoms of brain fog, extremely forgetful, sudden loss of memory, and that makes him unfit for business. Also, he has got an aversion to work. The sudden loss of memory. Later, we can see that this medicine is also good for senile dementia.
Oh,
So
okay.
this can be a chronic, like a slowly, gradually developed problem, the loss of memory. Also, there can be a sudden loss of memory. Both can be there. And this one, because of they have that loss of memory, they themselves consider they are unfit for business. Also, they have self confidence. It's not that their mental state is completely plain direct nothing. There will be a complex of symptoms coming together. There are organic changes that is happening. That is why we have symptoms from all the cognitive and the other behavior symptoms we will be having over here. So the person is always in a confused stage, and because he feel that he is unfit for business, he has got and this extreme mental exertions is going to bring trouble for him. He has got aversion to work. But then we can connect it that to his suspicious nature also. So he's born suspicious, like Hyosamus. We'll see later how to differentiate Hyosamus because Hyosamus is also in there in your list, the
Mhm.
first list of your medicine. So we'll see how the suspicion of Hyos will be different from you. But these people, they are also born suspicious, look everything in a twisted way, and that is due to their lack of self confidence. And because of this, as I already told, they will try to justify or prove himself. And because of this lack of confidence, they will be having this distrust always to their colleagues also. So neither they will do their jobs properly, no, they will allow or trust their colleagues to do their jobs properly. So this feeling of distrust on himself and others or his colleagues are so prominent that will be affecting his work life in case the person has not gone to the level of schizophrenia. But even before, I told you the schizophrenia will be towards the end stage,
Yeah.
but anacardium, it will be like starting from somewhere and then moving towards that extreme stages. Or it is not even necessary that the person should end with schizophrenia. There will be different categories of people. So those people who have extreme suspiciousness, especially when the business comes to the colleagues, that we need to think about anacardium. And they also have fixed ideas or delusions. That is mostly we see in case of schizophrenia. The person thinks he has two wheels like in one part of his shoulder, or we could say his one part of the head or whatever, the right side and left side. So one part he feels like angel is sitting, and it is saying him to do something if it is a nice thing, and on the other side it is a demon that is sitting saying him not to do that thing. So that is the delusion the person is having, and this is an important feature of anacardium. Even if he has not gone to the level of a schizophrenia, even though we see him among our office or something, he thinks that he has two wills, one commanding him to do what the other forbids.
I see.
Usually, this is a feature of schizophrenia, but maybe we can see a milder level of this among. I mean, when he has not gone into that extreme level, he is under the delusion that there is a supra-human control over him. That's what I told. One place or one side, he feels like a angel is sitting on his right shoulder and saying him to do good things, and the opposite side, a demon sitting over him and saying him not to do that. He walks anxiously as if someone is following him. There also we can see his suspiciousness. He feels like someone is pursuing him and might attack him. This one, not just walking, he can feel it towards his colleagues also. Not that he is feeling towards colleagues, but the other way around. Colleagues are trying to do something. That suspicion, it will be always present around him in all the places where he is there. He thinks mind and body are separated. Uh, and these features may be like of schizophrenia itself.
Mhm.
Hear distant voices or voice of dead people telling that he will die. Or it can be anything. He can hear distant voices, which is not exactly over there. And that is actually a feature of schizophrenia. They hear voices usually which is not existing. And
Mm.
that is the word that is used here is clairaudient. And this is a cure symptom. Sees everyone's face on the mirror except his
Wow.
own.
Okay.
So some features of it in extreme schizophrenia, but a mild form, like especially the initial thing, the two wheels, if it has not gone to the extreme level, and the lack of self-confidence and the suspiciousness that will can be sometimes we can see in their work life also. For memory, the senile dementia, the person cannot recall the name of people, especially of family and friends. Suspicious, he's bent on wickedness. Okay, maybe we can also connect it that to his the demon that is sitting on his one side. That he is expecting his colleagues or his family or someone that is pursuing him is going to attack, and hence he's already very wicked and he wants to do harm on them. He's melancholic and hypochondriac person who easily get offended, and they're very having a contradictory nature. Like whatever we saw now is showing a negative trait of that person, but always not that necessary. He may be having contradictory nature, like he can be fastidious. You know what is the meaning of fastidious?
Kind of like the they want everything in their order.
Yeah, very orderly mannered. That is ourself. Another medicine is carcinosin. Carcinosin and ourself are actually the medicines that we need to initially think when we say about this fastidious nature. But still, this person is also, even though we learned a lot of negative traits, that's why it is called these persons may be having contradictory nature. But when I say you contradictory nature, the other medicine, the next medicine we are going to deal is ignatia, and ignatia is actually the medicine of contradictions. So just because I told you both the thing, and first time I'm saying contradictory nature in anacardium, don't give much importance because the next medicine, ignatia, that is going to be the most contradictory because the contradictory nature in ignatia we can see in mental and physical level also. But in case of anacardium, usually it is seen in the mental level only. So he's fastidious like ourselves. There can be religious mania alternating with cruelty, laugh alternating with cry, laugh at serious matters and is serious over laughable matters. We can actually connect it this contradictory nature also that because of his belief that he is having angel and a demon with him together. So one is saying him to do and one is saying him not to do. So maybe that's a confusion which is leading him to have this contradictory nature also. Uh, and then another totally different symptom or personality we can find in him is he's very helpless, pleading, hopeless with a feeling of worthlessness. That's also a very contradictory feature sometimes we can find in an academy because all the above sentences we were
Mhm.
saying where we see a negative trait of an acadium, and then we are not expecting that person to be of this nature, the helpless, pleading, or hopeless, because we saw that he is bent on wickedness. Uh, he is believing that someone will attack him, but he is ready to cause harm to other persons. So that's a kind of nature that we are seeing in him. And then suddenly we see that in Anacardium, such trait people also can be there who feel like they are hopeless, helpless, and requesting or pleading in nature with a feeling of worthlessness. Now, the guiding symptoms, one of the most important symptom is the strange sensation. Though I put it in third one, the strange sensations is very much important in their body, wherever they feel like a sensation of plugs
Bug.
over there, like a plug. Um, the electrical plug we
Okay.
use,
Okay.
the
Uh-huh.
the socket into which we keep the plug
Uh-huh.
you use. Yeah, so everywhere where he feels, especially the openings, not necessarily opening, but everywhere he feel like something has been plugged and closed that area.
Oh,
No, that
okay.
area has been plugged. Yeah, that's this is a sensation. And over the eyes, rectum, bladder, whichever organ feels like there is a plug that has been. So something has been blocked on that way. Uh, that's the sensation it's having. Or sometimes a sensation of hoop or band around a part, like a band. Hoop or band is exactly the same thing what we say. You understood what is hoop?
Yeah, yeah. Like the
Uh,
hula hoop.
yeah, yeah, the same
Okay.
thing. Or a band, something that has been tightly, a cloth band or something that has been tightly wound over him. So he have that sensation. And this hoop or band sensation we can see in other two drugs, that is cactus and carbolic acid. Cactus, because this is usually in cactus we can see that sensation especially in the chest area. It is a medicine that we can give for angina if we get the time. Uh,
Mm,
that's the but cactus do have that pain. When you study, you will learn that
okay.
cactus do have that typical angina or that
Mm,
mi pain, that crushing type of pain where the person feels like is that is the mi pain. There is something that is pressure kept over his chest, or that his uh, chest area or the heart area is being twisted. That's the kind of sensation they feel. Even when we take the medicine text and we see for the pain sensation during angina or during MI, we can see the person is always saying about the crushing sensation. Always, and I don't know whether have you seen a MI patient when the person is having angina, they will be keeping their hands in the head, central part of their
yeah,
chest, yeah, and then they will be holding it like this manner, uh, like they are also trying to hold it like that. Can you see how I'm keeping the
yeah.
fist actually? Yeah, that's how, because they have that crushing sensation. They feel that even within the heart, something is crushing the heart. So that's why they are trying to keep it like a pressure, not a pressure, but that gives a kind of ambulation, or maybe that is the pain that they feel, that a crushed sensation. Even unknowingly, they keep their hands like that. So that's a band-like sensation which we can exactly find in cactus, especially in the chest area or the heart area itself. When you learn, you will learn that like a vice or tightened in with a screw. You know, you might have used that. You studied science during your plus two, right? Plus two
Yeah,
means yeah. So have you used calipers during your physics
the
lab?
like the vernier calipers and things like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And you know, you remember you keep the wire and then twist and twist and twist to get the exact millimeter, or
yeah.
it's yeah. So similar is the feeling in case of cactus. The feel like that the heart has been kept over there and it is tightened and tightened, screwed and screwed over. That's a crushing sensation, and that's how it is explained in our Materia Medica book. And when you take the MI in a practice of medicine, you'll see almost similar. It won't be as artistic as the way in which Materia Medica has been written, but you'll see it is almost similar. The pain, that sensation will be. So in cactus, it will be in the heart area. For that's why it is given for angina. And carbolic acid is usually seen in the head region. So for headache, the person will be having usually such a sensation. But in case of anacardium, they will be having any part of the body. It's not just on the head or the chest. They can feel this hoop or band sensation any part of their body, or as of a dull, blunt instrument pressing. So when we have to give anacardium, usually this symptom, either of these symptoms, not either, any of these symptoms, or from these three sensations, at least one should be the that is one of the characteristic feature or guiding symptom of this medicine.
Mhm.
Then the second would be there will be neurasthenics, means asthenia means weakness, and neuro, which indicates nerves. So some type of nerve weakness, who have nervous dyspepsia or complaints of digestion. or rather, empty feeling in stomach, which is relieved by food. So this is a highly characteristic feature of anacardium. They will be having a dyspepsia or digestion problem or something,
Mm-hmm.
and or empty sensation in the stomach, which is relieved by food. You see this in sulfur also, that empty sensation, especially towards 11 a.m. that everything have gone and they have to eat food. So this same thing we can see in anacardium also, and they don't have that specific timing like that of sulfur. They have an empty sensation, and that is relieved by food. And this feature we can see there is a comparison that which we can make with nux vomica. Exactly opposite actually. We'll see that. So that is why nux vomica comes in relation with anacardium. And there is diminution of all senses, all the special senses, smell, sight, hearing. And in one way, they are clairaudient also. Syphilitic patients often suffer with these weakness of sensations. The another one is they have sensitivity to touch, discomfort or pain upon being touched, or with heightened sensitivity to pressure or tight clothing. I just kept it over there. When considering to the other guiding symptoms, it is not that much important. Importance will be for this, the empty feeling, which is relieved by food, and the strange sensations of plugs, hooper band, or dull blunt instrument pressing. Among these, your answer sheet or in your memory, at least these two should be the plug sensation or a hoop or pant around the part of the body.
Okay.
Then going towards the important particulars, I've just mentioned, I think, head, GIT, and skin. That's all I have mentioned. Because maybe this will be taken again in your material medical class, but be- I have to do a comparison, so you should have some idea of that, right? So in case of head, usually the gastric headaches or nervous headache of sedentary people, and we get the comparison with bryonia and nux vomica. This pain will be there as from a plug in any part of the head. It can be on forehead, occiput, temples, vertex. No special mention. It can be everywhere. And when we go for the position, I'm not going to agenda nitricum, but bryonia and nux vomica. Bryonia usually be whole head or the frontal region, and nux vomica, the headache will be in the occipital region. But in case of anacardium, this sensation more than the headache, it's like a pluck sensation all over the forehead, occiput, temples, vertex, wherever. And the important nature of that headache will be it is relieved entirely when eating. The same feature we can see in sorinum also. Um, Headache when patient is lying down in bed or when about falling asleep, worse during motion and work. Just imagine the situation. He's having headache always. He's lying down, he's having headache, and he's going for motion, like moving about or do some work, then also he's having headache. Uh, as like I colored over here, its head becomes important because of this symptom, headache relieved when eating, and that pluck sensation. So even if usually in exams, anacardium head wouldn't be asked, uh, but I just put it over there. But these two symptoms, if it is anacardium GIT that is asked, still, though this is headache symptoms, you need to put it over here. Okay. Yeah, because of its one is the general feature and another one it is related to eating or it is the gastric headache. Gastric headache means the headache which is caused due to the excess hydrochloric acid production and then that resulting in the headache which will be ameliorated when taken food. So the hydrochloric acid produced in excess will be used up, so the headache will be ameliorated. So that is the importance. That's why that I put over here. So even GIT, you have to put those symptoms there. So in GIT, the person will be having apt to choke when eating and drinking, swallows food and drink hastily. This feature we can see in HEPA self also. Symptoms disappear while eating, whatever, it's a general amelioration. All the GIT or the headache symptoms will be disappearing while eating. So in the stomach, there will be sensation of all gone or an empty feeling, which comes on only when the stomach is empty and is ameliorated immediately by eating or during the process of digestion. When the stomach is full of food, the patient is having no problem at all. When it goes empty, all the symptoms will come out. Abdomen, there is also a pain over there as if a dull plug were pressed into intestines. There will be rumbling, pinching, gripping, etc. It doesn't matter, all those adjectives. What you need to remember is that plug sensation. It can be present everywhere. So whichever, whenever something is asked on the anacardium, that plug sensation should be there. Not in mind, okay. And in rectum, there is great desire for stool, but with the effort, the desire passes away without evacuation. And this is another important symptom where we have to compare with Nuxform. Why the comparison with Nuxform comes.
Mm-hmm.
So in Nuxform also, you might be remembering this symptom. There is a desire for stool,
Yeah.
but yeah, the person will be passing stool for a long time. Still, his desire is not getting satisfied. There is an ineffectual urging. So same with here, there is great desire, but with the effort itself, the desire passes away without any evacuation. Why? Because bowel seems inactive or powerless, as if it also has been plugged up.
Mm.
Like the patient is feeling the anal region, something has got plugged, kept over there and plugged up. So the stool is not moving. How much ever he is trying to push or strain for that, still because of the presence of that plug sensation, the stool is not moving. So that actually indicates a kind of paralytic situation or paratic situation of the rectum. It's not actually something is over there. Maybe it's some cancerous growth, because this medicine can be considered. We told that this is a psychotic miasm, there is a syphilitic miasm. So maybe there is some cancerous condition if we are going to look, see the pathology behind. Otherwise, even the rectum might be having some paratic condition, if not meta-analysis, paratic condition where it is inactive and the stool is not moved out from the rectum. There is itching at anal region, moisture from rectum, hemorrhage, and also painful hemorrhoids. So yeah, it can be hemorrhoids also, due to which anyway they will be having that plug sensation. That's why the stool is not passing, and even soft stool passes with difficulty. Here we can go for a comparison with alumina, but because you have not studied that, we are not going to that drug. Come over here. So this is the symptom. And in skin, there is intense itching, eczema, especially the neurotic type, the neurotic eczema, usually seen in the people with neurotic complaints or psychic complaints actually, or
Okay.
these old age people. They will be always itching and itching, no, itching, sorry, scratching and scratching and scratching. That's the neurotic eczema.
Mm.
Can be given for lichen planus with that mental irritability. That should be the even eczema, when we are saying it is not just physical complaint. If it was just physical, we have so many other remedies to think of, sulfur, Naxform, or whatever. But here, not Naxform, sorry, Rextox, Sorinum, so many medicines are there. But here, what we told that typical mental features, whatever we discussed, that symptoms also should be present over there. So that's why when they say there is intense itching, eczema, still they keep the term neurotic eczema. And if it is lichen planus also, whether it's told lichen planus or lichen planus, how it is pronounced?
I'm not sure actually.
I mean, I have heard both of it, lichen planus and also
Ah,
lichen. I don't know how it is pronounced. Okay. Anyway, so now I am going with my pronunciation itself.
okay.
So that will be having that mental symptom should be the, it's because of that mental symptom. And then as I told you, for the vesicular eruptions, the swelling urticaria, eruptions will be similar to that of poison oak or rust rocks, and hence this is a antidote to eruptions of poison oak. The person actually this is like both are possible. When we see rust rocks, we also see that if there is a rust poisoning and the person is going in near to the shrub area of or the rust rock shrub and they're getting poison, in the text it is told that we can give the potentized form of rust rock itself. But then this is also given. This is also this medicine anacardium is
Mm,
also an antidote to the
I
eruptions
saw.
caused by poison. Both are the poison oak. Poison oak is the common name of rust rocks. So yeah, both are there. So in case maybe Restrox is not there, maybe we can adjust with Anacardium. Then another important feature is the warts. Warts which is present on the palms of hands, and that is seen in Natrium muriaticum also. So, why this is important is sometimes our medicines are having some location of what's to be important. Like this one, and Natromure, Anacardium and Natromure, it is having on the palms. And if the warts are present on the dorsal part of the hands, then the medicine is Dulcamara and Tocha.
Oh, okay.
That's right. So it's comparison. I mean, for you, no, and maybe for MCQ, I don't know. So these are the features in case of skin. And modalities, it is worst on application of hot water, but in case of skin complaints, hot water is amelioration. For other complaints, hot water is aggravation actually. And they have better from eating when lying on side and also from rubbing. Relationship, anacardium follows well after lycopodium and pulsatilla. So why? One reason. And anacardium is followed well by platina. You know anything about platina?
Bacteria. Mm-mm.
Okay. Platina is actually a very interesting medicine.
Okay.
It's of course the name indicate it's from the platinum itself.
Okay.
So a noble metal, one of the most costliest thing. So
Yes.
like that is the nature of platina paper. It's specially suited for women, hysterical natured
Of course.
women. But the but the most important nature is, because it's so valuable, we can say these people are very haughty also, very haughty in nature. They feel like they are the queens,
Ah,
and every people they look down upon people. That's how they say. And that expansion, not expansion actually, that sense of exaggeration that they are something very big. It is not just seen in mentally; it's seen in physical level also. So that's the importance of platina in very short words. And then platina has also got constipation. So that's one feature, an academic and platina comes together, constipation. And yeah, platina has got some, because it's a female remedy, they have got some menstrual complaints and also complaints from masturbation, excessive intelligence on sexual matters. Platina is a remedy. But usually
ah,
platina, because we can connect it to their precious nature, that their haughtiness, we can connect it in the medicine level also. So, but mostly anacardium and platina would have been come because of the constipation mainly. Both are acting on mind, but
yeah.
action is different. Because one is haughty, other one we can't say because the person is not even having self-confidence and is a schizophrenic condition. So the mind of anacardium and platina are totally different, but they do have this constipation.
Hmm.
So the next is, yeah, the anacardium occidental. I told you they are also having the same symptoms: erysipelas, vesicular facial eruptions, warts, corns, ulcers, cracking of the skin on soles of feet, and because of this corns, the single word corns, that's why we give anacardium. But I kept this because I saw this very interesting symptom. Because in when I was a student, I always keep in memory only those small symptoms, those little symptoms which I can reproduce. Not everything; it's not possible. So I always used to remember in skin that vesicular eruption, warts, and corns.
What?
That's it.
Okay.
Nothing more. And then I saw this thing, the anesthetic variety of leprosy. I have never noticed this before.
Oh, wow.
Uh, but yeah, because this medicine is having actions on the nervous complaints. Or we have seen that person will be neurasthenic, and yeah, so the anesthetic variety of leprosy also we can think about anacardium. So
What does it mean by anesthetic variety of leprosy?
in leprosy, the one variety, especially the tuberculoid,
Okay.
I mean, in both varieties, there are different varieties of leprosy, the lepromatous variety, the tuberculoid variety. That are the two
Uh-huh.
extremes. And then we have a mixed form, then we have a indeterminate form, and then we have a neuritic form.
Okay.
So in lepromatous leprosy, it will be total destruction, disfigurement, everything will be there. But the minimum thing, now I don't have the picture, but you can just Google and see tuberculoid, there will be just slight discoloration only. If the person is coming to us, it's very difficult for us to understand that he's having leprosy because it will be just a discoloration. Can we can confuse it with oh vitiligo,
Okay.
vitiligo? I don't know. It can confuse it with that thing. So when we see the person would be having a loss of sensation in vitiligo, though there will be a discoloration, if you are going to prick him with a pin, of course he's
Mm-hmm.
not going to know the pain. But in case of anesthetic variety, it will be like no sensation. We are going to prick him with a pin, he's not going to recognize that pain. That is the anesthetic variety of leprosy. And that neurite, this is due to nerve damage because that Mycobacterium leprae, it it has got a predilection to the Schwann cells, the cells which are
Okay.
there in the nerves. So it will go and destroy those Schwann cells. So the neuritic destruction will be happening, or nerve destruction. And this is very obvious in case of tuberculoid leprosy. So in the starting itself, the patient will be having, though this is one feature, like when the patient comes to us, we should be able to recognize, especially the people who are in BHMS, because when it was MBBS, a lot of patients will be going there, so they will be seeing a lot of cases. They might be able to differentiate the patients very differently, and this is a drawback. Even in India, I felt for the BHMS students because we don't see much patients.
Right.
We don't have those varieties of patients. So most of the things we have theoretical knowledge, not from that practical aspect. So if a person is coming to us and if the person also doesn't know he's having leprosy, it will be very difficult. Only during the case taking, maybe he says that even if he touches over here or something fell over here, he doesn't have that sensation. Then we think about leprosy. Otherwise, we may be thinking about, oh, this may be just a case of vitiligo or something.
Okay.
So, tuberculoid, being that eruption, being very mild or not that serious, it's not severe as like a lepromatous one, the other variety. The nerve destruction happens at an earlier stage. But in case of lepromatous, ultimately, there is also nervous destruction, there is also anesthesia, but not initially. That comes in a later stage, that anesthetic uh, uh, type. I can't even say sensation. They won't feel that pain or anything hot fell on their body. In that area, they won't feel that sensation, won't be there. That is anesthetic variety of leprosy.
Okay.
So now we go towards the comparisons. So comparisons, we'll do the comparisons bell hyostramonium, because though in not this, you have another chain, the aconite bell hyostramonium. So I felt I will do that comparison also. Then in head, we'll compare with Bry and Nuxworm, GIT, Bry, Nuxworm itself, and skin rust drugs. So we'll just skip through it because you already know these drugs. So in case of mind, in case of belladonna, I'm not repeating the mind of anacardium. We have already seen that. In belladonna, these three medicines, anacardium, bell, and stramonium, it is a trio for delirium. And in case of belladonna, it will be violent. Everything will be sudden, violent, and the person will be attacking in nature. They have a sense of fear. They feel as if the black animals, dogs, and wolves are present. They see hideous faces, ghosts, and various insects. We didn't see this in case of anacardium. We just see that the person is feeling that someone is pursuing. Two voices are talking to him, one saying to him to do, another saying forbidding him. We
Yeah.
don't see this type of fear in case of anacardium. And then reddishness or that congestion is very prominent in case of belladonna. There is a plethoric nature. The whole face will be red, congested, dilated pupils, throbbing of carotids. Then this one, the acute sensation and motion, the eye snap and move quickly. So this will be the feature of belladonna. especially that violent attack, the fear to black animals, dogs, bulls, insects, ghosts, etc., and this red congestion, the hyperemic conditions, the high heat of the body. That will be the symptoms. In case of stramonium, delirium is more furious, mania more acute, but a congestion lesser to that of the belladonna. And here there will be a religious mania, the person always beseeching and praying continuously. And they also have a fear of water or something that is shining upon, mirror,
Oh.
shining objects, of dark, of being alone. So they doesn't want to be in dark or solitude. Though this mirror, shining objects, water, everything causes trouble for them, they don't want to be in dark or in solitude. They always wants to be in light and company. And painlessness is a characteristic feature of stramonium. And stramonium, when we indicate stramonium, mostly the person is in a mental asylum, usually. Yeah. Yeah. Because we see the same symptom in case of patients with rabies, we can think giving this medicine, stramonium, and another will be lysine and even belladonna in case of rabies. But how much it will work, we don't know because once the rabies develop, no medicines can save that person.
Mm.
Even initially, it was like you take the post exposure uh, vaccine.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was working actually. But in Kerala, last year, even after that taking vaccine, uh, many people, I mean, if I don't know the exact number, now it just came up, but if I just randomly say out of 10 people, if
Okay.
just in case 10 had taken, 6 had passed,
Oh
like that.
wow.
Yeah, so a great problem came up because it's always believed that you take the vaccination after the dog bite, you're going to be safe. And these people, they died like the vaccination duration, I think it is taken on third, uh, 7th, 14th, 21 and 28 days. Such a duration is there. So most of the patients died after taking the 3 vaccines, like in between uh, 15 to 28 days. That is the time they passed away. So then, because this much people passed away, and among them, there were 2 or 3 young people also, like
See.
18-year-old, then a small child, like a school-going child. So that led to a very big problem to the Kerala government, and that led to many controversies. And finally, it was discovered that the medicine didn't have that quality because
Oh.
they have to undergo tight quality checking and all.
Uh,
And now I don't know whether this is actually the creation of the media or that I don't know. The vaccines didn't have that quality. It was actually to, the politicians took bribery from low class manufacturers, and they purchased those medicines which didn't have that quality assurance
I
check.
see.
So that was the reason why even after taking 2 or 3, I mean they took 2, I think, when they were waiting for the third one. In that gap only, most of the people passed away. So that was
Mm.
because of that lack of quality, and then they are saying they actually disposed after this much cases happened, and death happened, and the road that happened among the public, because this much young people were passing away even after taking the vaccine.
Okay.
So they disposed actually those batch of vaccines, and I think they actually did, but because we heard it only until one particular phase. After to that, we have never heard it. Like maybe after I came here, this happened last year when I was in India, but after to that, I have never heard even after injection. So probably they might have disposed it. Maybe they made money what they wanted, and now people die are not what they
Oh.
want. But that was an extreme serious condition. Okay, so the third one is hyosamus, and hyosamus, the delirium here will be the erotomania, or the person will be having obscene character, singing that obscene songs, then exposing himself. So that will be the sexual mania that person will be having. He also will be having jealousy and suspicion, and here it will be like that he is going to be betrayed or poisoned. So he won't be ready to take the food. So
Mm-hmm.
this is how the suspicion of anacardium and Alzheimer's can be differentiated. In case of anacardium, he is feeling that someone is following him when he is walking, someone is following him, someone is going to attack him, and that is the kind of suspicion. Oh, someone, because he is not confident in himself or his job, he has a suspicion over to his colleagues. Are they going to do anything against him? A kind of jealousy towards them. That is how what we see in anacardium. But here, in case of Alzheimer's, it will be going to the extreme level of being poisoned, being betrayed, and they won't be ready to take even the medicine or food. If they are in some mental asylum, they won't be ready because they feel that it might be poisoned by the people they're trying to kill. And in Alzheimer's, these complaints can be originating from disappointed love relationships. And anacardium, not like that. It is just that by age or by the mental emotions, not like a Alzheimer's history, the uh, breaking of relationships, and not like that. Anyway, anacardium also doesn't have this sexual mania where they show their exhibitionism. And in case of Hyosamus, they have a delusion of grandiosity, that they are kings and queens, not of platina, not like platina. Platina, it is not a schizophrenic condition. Even the normal person, we see extremely haughty women. We can think about platina. They may not be platina, but we can think about platina. But Hyosamus, they will be thinking, imagine a person in a mental asylum who will be dressing like a king with the things that he has, and he thinks that he is a king or that grandiose nature or is very rich. Such a delusion Hyosamus will be having. Okay. Are you there,
Can you hear me?
Farah?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So in between, I couldn't hear anything, so I was
Oh,
just
okay.
confirming, just confirming your presence. Because once I open this thing, I don't see you in the screen. So even
Oh,
I don't know whether if the connection losses also.
I
That
see.
is my call in between. Because I don't know whether I'm just speaking, someone is hearing or not. Even the connection loss, I rarely get to know.
Okay.
Okay, now going towards the headache. In case of bryonia, they have a bursting type of headache, which is aggravated, their general nature, aggravation from the least motion, from ironing, from moving the head. Slightest movement is it's enough. The person prefer to lie still and apply pressure. And vertigo is also there, where the person will have this vertigo when moving upstairs or ascending, and they will be having thirst, particularly for large quantities of cold water. So even though there is a gastric headache or sedentary persons, bryonia will be having this whole head pain and that aggravation from movement, the slightest movement, and complete rest amelioration. They don't have that particular sensation of um, plugged
Uh-huh.
sensation or band sensation bryonia doesn't have. So that is one feature. And then they don't have this amelioration from eating in case of bryonia, but the thirst is characteristic. So that's how we differentiate. And when we come towards the headache of Nuxform, that's important. Headache in case of Nuxform, how it comes? It usually comes from excessive mental or physical exertion. Mental exertion we can see in anacardium, but here comes the most important, due to the overindulgence in stimulants. Coffee, we know that Nuxform is like a workaholic person. So anything they keep themselves to continue working at night. So they may be indulging in excess of coffee, alcohol, and they will be liking the spicy foods. Um, so that can result in a headache.
Mhm.
The cold winds exposure because they are extremely chilly patient, and also stimuli like light, noise, or strong odors because they're oversensitive. Prolonged periods of stress or anger. Digestive disturbances such as indigestion or constipation can also contribute to the development of headache. But this much causations, especially the stimulants, the external stimuli for the headache, we don't see in anacardia. Then here they are oversensitive and extremely irritable. Headache associated with constipation and hemorrhoids. Headache may ameliorate in a warm room, lying down, or applying pressure. Quiet and solitude may also provide some relief. But here also, what we said in the headache in case of anacardium, that pluck sensation or the amelioration of headache from having food, eating food, that is not seen in nux vomica. And the ailments from or the headache in nux vomica is totally different from that of anacardium. Only similarity is just the mental exertion, but then we have a variety of causes in case of nux vomica in headache, how it is arising. And in bryonia, the thing will be regarding the modality, aggravation, amelioration. In bryonia, there should be complete rest, that is ameliorating, and in movement is going to aggravate the pain. So this is the headache in three drugs. And in GIT, when we are comparing anacardium and nux vomica, so this is a sentence that I have taken from Nash. I felt this very nice, though it is looking like a essay. The explanation is so simple, so simple actually. You just need to, because I didn't want to delete anything from what he told. I
Uh,
just kept it like that. But the only thing you have to keep as memory is like only those words that I have underlined.
okay.
So we'll just go through it. Anacardium is often ought to be used in that hydra-headed complaint called dyspepsia. And why he called hydra-headed? Because dyspepsia, the indigestion, can
Mm-hmm.
cause any problem in the body. So, for which nux vomica is so indiscriminately used, and that is true also, because anacardium is often ought to be used. That's what he say. But still, most of the homeopathic doctors, even now with this here indigestion, the two remedies that run into their mind will be nux vomica and pulsatilla. After that, only they will be starting thinking another two remedies. The moment the patient says there is a complaint of digestion, the two remedies that come into your mind will be this thing, never anacardium. Okay, so that is why I kept the sentences, because when I read the first sentence itself, it was like ought to be used, but we never use. That's the thing. Both are excellent remedies, and it is only necessary to know the difference to make the choice between the messy. So there are only two differences in GIT. And one is anacardium has a pain in the stomach, which comes only when the stomach is empty and is relieved by eating, which we already saw. But it is the exact opposite nux vomica is having. Nux vomica has the problem when stomach is filled with food. So there will be pain in nux vomica when we have taken food for at least 2 to 3 hours. They will feel amelioration only when the food has got completely digested or when the stomach is empty. That is when they have that amelioration. So the pain of nux vomica is worse 2 to 3 hours after meals. So when the stomach is full with food, nux vomica is having a complaint. They just want it to get digested.
Uh-huh.
And then, so it is hours later, nux vomica will be having amelioration if they are eating. Or, in another words, when the stomach is empty. So that's a medicine for APD actually, acid peptic disease.
Mm.
Um, and in case of anacardium, there is a immediate relief by eating. When the person is eating, then itself the person is feeling so much relief. So that timing is one difference. So one is having amelioration immediately when the person is eating or when the stomach is full, and
Uh-huh.
the other person is feeling amelioration hours after eating, especially
Uh,
when the food has got digested and the stomach is not having that filled with food, not that sensation. Then the next is regarding the, so one is timing of pain and another one is regarding the urge to stool. So this ineffectual urging to stool, we can see in nux vomica and also anacardium. But in case of anacardium, that is due to the insufficiency or the paralytic stage, which I told you. But in nux vomica, it is due to the irregular peristaltic action. Um And that was observed by Carol Denham. That's why I didn't change the words. Or in other words, Nux vomica has desire, but there is a irregular or overaction. There is increased peristalsis. So he goes, he passes stools, and then he come out. There will be a momentary relief, but after a few minutes, not even hours, after a few minutes, because of this increased peristalsis, he will be still feeling okay. I need to pass stool again. I need to pass stool again, and he again goes. So there is, in result, there is a non-satisfaction. There will be a momentary satisfaction, that's it, but in effect the person will not be feeling complete satisfaction, and he feels complete satisfaction only towards afternoon, when a lot of time he had already passed this too. But in case of anacardium, they are also having the desire, but because of the strain that they have to put in to pass the stool, and the thing that that plug sensation or the paretic sensation, there is no sufficient action to carry it out because of the lump or plug sensation. So
Okay.
in case of nux vomica, if it is due to overaction, in case of anacardium, it is due to underaction. So both are having desire to pass stool, but both are not satisfied, or there is an ineffectual, because ineffectual in the sense, even though nux vomica is passing the stool, they have a momentary relief. They feel that completely the stool has not come out. They still need to go to the toilet. And in case of anacardium, they also have the desire, but in case nothing is passing out because there is an underaction. So this is the difference of the GIT complaints, or the dyspepsia in anacardium and nux vomica. In anacardium, the first feature will be regarding the timing of the pain. Anacardium, when the stomach is full, there is amelioration, and in nux vomica, when the stomach is full, there is an aggravation. It has to get empty for the patient to feel relief. But in anacardium, when it is getting empty, the stomach is empty, the patient starts the complaint. And then regarding the ineffectual urging, in one, it is due to overaction of the intestine, so the peristalsis. And
Uh-huh.
in another, there is a paralytic operatic sensations of the intestines, or rather, the rectum feels to be paralyzed, or some plug sensation in the anorectal region, so that there is an ineffectual desire. Then in case of bryonia also there is constipation, but here it is not the timing or anything else. Here there is extreme dryness. That's one of the guiding symptom of bryonia. There is extreme dryness of the mucous membrane, and because the mucous membrane is dried up, there will
Mhm.
be discharge also. Even if they are having some fever, the coryza, that will be getting dried up. Every discharge, they don't have discharge actually, or if at all there is, it will be completely dry. So the dryness of mucous membrane is their feature, and that is why they have that thirst also, the thirst for extreme large quantities
Water.
of cold water. So the dryness of mucous membrane is very characteristic, and that dryness we can see in the intestine, because intestine is also with the mucous layer. So they feel dry over there also, and because of that, they have that constipation. Because there is dryness, the stool, it seems to be large, hard, dry, as if burnt. There is extreme difficulty for them to push the stool outside. So that's the nature of constipation. Here it is due to the dryness of mucous membrane. Then skin comparisons, especially with Rustox. So one of the condition is erysipelas. So this is the erysipelas, more of superficial. And if it is going to deeper tissues, it will be cellulitis.
Okay.
So erysipelas, in case I made a table over here. So in case of anacardium, it is a malignant type, or rather very spreading type. It cures erysipelas, which is spreading from right to left. But in case of Rustox, though we say it is a right-sided remedy, Rustox cure cases of erysipelas, which is from left to right.
Oh.
And then there is Phlegmonas erysipelas. I tried to Google and didn't get a particular explanation with Phlegmonas, what that may mean. It just again showed very reddish. So I don't know why they told that, maybe extreme reddish or very bright. I don't know. Anyway, it begins in the ankle region, move gradually up and running to the deeper tissues. Rustrock cures cases from left to right. And when we go for the modalities, in case of Rustrock's, the general modality itself, like the cold, wet, rainy weather is aggravation and amelioration from warm, dry weather. In case of anacardium, aggravation from scratching, but amelioration is also from warm applications as like Rustrock's. Then for the vesicular eruptions, there is yellow vesicles in anacardium with intense burning and itching. But here there will be much swelling, inflammation, burning, itching, etc. Almost all vesicles, it is almost similar, that burning and itching. Then what's I told you it's on the palms, and for Rustrox it's on the hands and the finger. Jagged, often pedunculated warts, exuding moisture or sometimes bleeding. And in case of eczema, we discussed it is the neurotic eczema. So there will be mental irritability, and that is relieved by hot water, as hot as can be stood. That is how they say that. Maybe because of that mental nature, the neurotic nature, they really can't feel that much pain. Can connect to that also. uh, because we already saw they have some kind of like anacardium occidental can be given to the anesthetic variety. So
Mhm.
maybe they are not realizing that extreme heat, maybe because of that. In case of Rustrox, it's eczema, especially of the entire scalp region. But no, though I differentiated it like this, just remember or give stress to those things that I have colored. The erysipelas, the direction, and that vesicular eruptions is common for both. And what's only difference is where the location is. One on palms and another is anywhere on hands and fingers. And it can ooze blood also. And eczema, one will be neurotic and another not necessarily with the mental irritability. So the next remedy we go is Ignatia amara. Have you studied this drug? You know
Oh,
anything about it? Have you heard it?
Ignatia. I know that it's it's got like ailment from grief, right?
Yes,
That's
that's the most
I
important
read
feature.
a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is one of the medicine for disappointed love. We have a lot of medicines. Ignatia,
Get me.
Natamuraticum, Calcarea fos, Hyosamus. Yeah, many medicines. So common name is Saint Ignatius Bean, named after some saint, and it belonged to the family Loganaceae, and it is the same family Nuxworm belongs to. So that's how the relationship or the direction comes now. The seeds, because they are belonging to the same family, they have same chemical constituents, especially the strychnine. So the seeds of Ignatia contain a large proportion of strychnine than those of Nux vomica. Strychnus ignati is a tree in the family Loganaceae, which is native to Philippines, particularly in Kutch, Balogan, and parts of China. Anyway, it is this property of strychnine. If you remember, you have studied Nuxworm, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think last semester.
Uh, yeah, so I'll be just going through after ignition. We'll be just going through a sudden skipping through Nux vomica.
Okay.
So in Nux vomica, also we see that nervous complaints, and also they have that particular um, opisthotonus. That can be seen that opisthotonus means that tetanic convulsions.
Yeah.
Yeah, so so Ignatia is also good for that, and they have actually large proportion of strychnine when compared to that of Nux. But when you take the literature, I didn't keep it over here, but in case when we take the literature, that is Clark textbook, the first thing that he is saying about Ignatia is one of the first thing. First, we have to forget the thing that Ignatia is a remedy only for hysterical complaints. One. And second thing that for hysteria, it is Ignatia that is the only remedy. And then I was thinking, Clark wrote it in late 18th century or early 19th century, not 18th century, 19th century, late 19th century. Ignatia is a remedy because we give importance to its causation, the extreme grief, worry, everything, and this uh, 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 breaking of love relationships. We always forget that it has got action on the nerves. It also produces some type of convulsions, and the nervous complaints, tremors, etc., can be covered with ignatia. So I was just thinking when I read that sentence, even now, what Clark told in that time, it's still going on so strong that we still remember history. Hysteria means ignatia. We don't remember any other remedy. So that was the sentence he told, that ignatia means hysteria only, or hysteria means ignatia only. We need to take out that misconception from our mind.
Mm.
So anyway, because that action of Nux vomica, we give it for the convulsions,
Uh-huh.
spasms, everything connected to strychnine. The quantity of strychnine is more in case of ignatia, so this is also well suited for those complaints. So the
Um,
remedy is prepared from the finely powdered dry seeds of St. Ignatius bean. The male partner of ignatia is Nux vomica. Okay. Like Lyco and Pulsatilla, we say it is
uh,
ignatia and Nux vomica. I don't know, have I told you, in our college we used to do something called as drug drama. And
uh-uh.
that used to be a competition. The
Cool.
colleges will be having the arts fest. What you say over here in Malaysia? A cultural
Arts
fest
fair?
for one, like cultural things. So many competitions will be there among students in writing, drawing, dancing. Do you have
Oh,
that activities in college?
I mean, I'm not sure about Lincoln, but I had that in UM.
Not me, Lincoln. I'm generally asking about
Oh,
does the educational institution over here have that arts fest? We call in back in India as arts fest.
I don't think so.
Okay. So what we do is every college. That's a general practice, general thing. It's a cultural thing. Every educational institution, even from school, even one
Oh,
school, we have that. So yearly once, during one annual year, there will be 1 week, at least 1 week, where there will be cultural fest, or this. That's what we call as arts fest. So there will be indoor competitions and outdoor competitions. Indoor competitions will be like writing poetry, writing stories, then what else will be done? Drawing, painting, all these activities, and even speech. The elocution. It can be in
ah,
Hindi, Sanskrit, English, Malayalam. So whichever be the regional language, accordingly it will change. Essay
wow.
competition. So all these things will be happening indoors, and then we will be indoors in the sense in between days they will be keeping these competitions, and then 3 or 4 days, sometimes it will take 1 week, but usually 3 or 4 days, not more than that, we'll be having competition on stage competition, and it can be poem recitation, so different languages, English, Malayalam, Hindi usually, and then poem recitation, dance, music, and dance will be different varieties, not just because in Hindi movies, we have a lot of Bollywood music, so that will
Yeah.
be according to that. There will be dances, but not just that, even the cultural ones, like we have the traditional dances, Bharatanatyam, Mohiniyattam, Kuchipudi, Oppana, so many others. So minimum 3 days will be taking for boys, girls, everything together. So those days we don't have college also. Okay, so that's a time where we take a break, and we all come together. So colleges do that. So one of the competition, not this is a competition usually happening in all colleges, but this drug drama was something that I saw in Homeo College because only we can do this. So this will be like a drama itself. Yeah, we have
Uh-huh.
drama competition also. So kind of
Cool.
people, yeah, they will be coming together. I mean, other colleges, then they will be having some other themes, but here the theme will be the drugs itself. So there will be people, but these people will be the drugs, and they behave in a manner like that drug behave. So Nux vomica, we know the mental character and the physical character. So we will be preparing the plot in such a manner that the person will be saying the symptoms of Nux vomica. We will be shown like a person
Oh.
who is working. So will be table and chair and is working with a laptop. Or earlier it used to be book, now it will be laptop, and then he is
Uh-huh.
smoking. Then there will be a bottle of alcohol kept over there. He's sipping sometimes, then sometimes there may be coffee that is kept in a flask over there. So that gives an appearance. So when we see that itself, we understand, oh, this person is Nux vomica. The drama will never say that the person is Nux vomica. We have to guess. I mean, the audience sit from the, and from
Oh.
that expression we guess. And then there will be other symptoms also, like he's feeling a tendency to pass stool, and then he goes to pass stool. He comes, and then he will say, oh, still I feel to go, and then he again goes. And anaximomica also has a symptom like he has a feeling of always vomiting and
Uh-huh.
extreme nauseousness, and he feels like he needs to put some, even his finger, and induce vomiting, and then he will be relieved. So all these things will be acted and showed. So 11 to 12 persons, like a number of people that comes in drama, they come together
Mhm.
and they do their roles. So it depends on how best one person have acted it. They never say which is the drug. Okay, it is not that they will expose
Mm.
Nux vomica or ignatia. It is from their symptoms. We have to, we and the
Identify.
judges,
Uh-huh.
yeah, we have to guess and how nicely they have put it along. So always when it is a Nux form, and if he's having a girlfriend or a wife, it will be always ignatia. because,
Okay.
this, because of that nature, the male partner of Ignatia is Nux vomica. And Ignatia also will be showing her feature, her nature and all. So while Nux vom is adapted to nervous men, Ignatia is the same for women. In case of constitution, so the adapted to women of hysterical nature, they're very sensitive, easily excited, dark, mild disposition, quick to perceive and rapid in execution, which means the person, the lady will be extremely intelligent. It is not that she is dumb or anything. She is extremely intelligent. She
Mhm.
will be quickly, I mean, that mental intelligence will be too high that she will be very quick to understand, perceive, or do, and also to execute it. So they are very highly efficient women. Remedies suiting to persons with great contradictions. We'll see what are their contradictions. They're very alert type, nervous, apprehensive, rigid, and trembling. The trembling we can connect to their nervous feature. Alert to their intelligence nature, and apprehensive, a bit anxiety. What is the exact meaning of apprehensive?
Apprehensive.
Anxiety? Is it?
Is it? Is it?
Or get
Apprehensive.
apprehensive. What is it?
Oh,
Yeah, like jealousy, scared of something. Is it?
yeah. It's fearful that something bad will happen.
Okay. Okay. So they are apprehensive, but this feature we can see more in Sepia actually. There is a relationship coming over there, I'll show. Then their rigid nature, it can be physical and also their mental nature. Suits for patient who suffer acutely in body or mind, especially from sudden bad news they are hearing, or the sudden break in their relationship, or sudden death happening in the family or friends. So mostly acute symptoms. And if it is a long continued effect, then we think usually of natremute, but this is mostly acutely. Persons mentally and physically exhausted after long concentrated grief. That's how, though we say, that's what I wanted to say. I was not sure where this symptom was coming. Though we say this is acutely acting, sudden emotions, this medicine can also be indicated if there is a long concentrated grief. So we need to actually confirm the stage of the person, because somewhere in the relationship, I think I should go to the relationships now. Um, there is a relationship in case of Ignatia. They usually follow the sequence Ignatia, Natamur, and Sepia. So we need to see the chronicity.
Okay.
If you when you learn the medicines, you see that the symptoms actually changes.
Mm-hmm.
Ignatia, when we see that acute, that hysteria, when the person, they get to know a very shocking news, they're going to respond sometimes very violently. The hysteria comes out. That sudden time, we can think about Ignatia. But Natramoser is like though the sentence is saying they are physically and mentally extremely exhausted because of the grief, though that is told in Ignatia, that symptom is more prominent in case of Natramoser. There is that chronic grief. We think about Natramoser. And sepia means their grief stage is there, but they have gone into an indifferent stage.
Different. Yes.
Yeah, so the apathy, complete apathy, don't care nature, or they're hating the persons whom they loved once. That much indifference they have gone. So it showed the direction or the duration. So even though we say this medicine that the persons are physically and mentally exhausted because of this symptom or long concentrated, it's more or less ignatia usually given for acute complaints. And sometimes when we give natramure, I have now given like a natramure and then coming to ignatia. I have not yet done that. But I have heard one of my friends saying that she tried with a Nuxmom, sorry, natramure, but it was not working. And then she went back to ignatia. It was not acute or something, but then she just wanted to try. And then ignatia actually brought a change. So anyway, there is chili patient. Sora is in the miasmatic background. Ailments from grief, worry, anger, disappointed love, suppressed mental sufferings. From bad news, vexation with reserved displeasure. Reserved displeasure like that of a staphysagria, like the person got angry or someone shouted at him. Imagine like in a school or a college or in an office,
Huh?
where you are subordinate to someone and you are not supposed to say anything against someone shouted at you, mostly in office, because even in school or college we may react, but not in office that much. So the boss shouted at you, or anyone, that person, and he couldn't express his feeling. He kept it within himself, that displeasure, and is not expressing that reserved displeasure, and then come to home and then he will be brooding it over. Oh, he told like that, he did like that, it was to me like this, brooding it over. That is that not showing that displeasure to someone. Or the person should be like, okay, I don't care, or just let it go. But no, they're keeping that displeasure in their mind. They never expressed it, but still keeping it and worrying like, why did they do to me, what did I do, and blah blah blah. That can be a reason. And also old spinal injuries, so which we can connect to the nervous spinal complaints, tremors, etc. And these ailments from we always forget because we keep importance only to the first two. So in the mind, yeah, the melancholy, it is the most prominent feature. They're very sad, tearful, not communicative, sighing always. This is an important feature of it. In fact, it is told as involuntary sighing. You know, involuntary sighing. I think you have done that once. Involuntary sighing. They not that you have done. I have asked you, and I think you have done like that. They take a deep breath and then like that. And not a
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay, okay.
Sometimes if we watch people, not while during exercise and all, but then we need a huge oxygen that we take
Okay.
intake. But this is like sit and they're thinking something, and then unknowingly they will be making such a voice. Not like this exactly, but
Mm,
huh. It's a involuntary sign. Always making that a sign
okay.
they will be making. So that's an important uh, thing or the sign we can get clue towards ignition. It's an
Yes.
important feature that they will be showing. And continuous sobbing. The ladies are highly emotional, moody, and according to Vitolkas, there's an explanation from him. They're very artistic and romantic personalities who wants to liberate themselves. They love independence or freedom. No, they want their liberation, or the modern kind of lady. Uh, they believe in certain things and they want everybody to believe the same. And when that doesn't happen, the conflicts come up and the lady feels defeated. She shouts, sobs, and then profound loneliness break forth because she's not able to adjust with them or get along with them because they are not ready to accept her kind of belief. So she decided to sit alone to brood over imaginary troubles or even something that happened also, why they did so to me, and all those things. Or thinking even imaginary. So that maybe we can connect to apprehensiveness. But this apprehensiveness, oh, that is why we went to the relationship and I forgot. That apprehensiveness is more in case of sepia. Though we say sepia to be very indifferent people, their apprehension is that severe that if the husband is 2 minutes late to arrive back at home, she starts thinking, oh, maybe my husband he had met with an accident and something like that has happened. No, that apprehension is extreme in case of sepia.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh, but they also have this imaginary brooding over. This is another important feature, brood over imaginary troubles. So, like in voluntary sighing, this brooding over is also important for them and for imaginary troubles. Become indifferent to everything, however, that is more prominent will be with sepia. I better delete this sentence. I don't want you to get confused. Then their contradiction is unbearable for them. The slightest fault-finding nature, slightest fault-finding nature or contradiction excites anger, and this makes him angry with himself because though they get angry and all, they are not going to usually express it to the person concerned. They may show it as a hysteria, but some mostly they will be keeping it themselves and then it comes out like a hysteria. But I have seen this person recently over in Malaysia. I have not seen before to that ignitia patient directly, but I saw over
Oh.
here. But because it was not a patient, it was someone that I had to deal with. I couldn't give the medicine also, but I always felt like I should give ignitia and see whether I could bring any change in that person. Almost she had the same causations, everything. Everything. And this is an important sentence. Children, when reprimanded or scolded and sent to bed, they get sick or have convulsions in sleep. Usually asks for MCQ. There is another remedy, graphitis. When they are reprimanded, they laugh. But this is like they have convulsions in sleep. Then there is changeability, amiable in disposition if feeling well, but easily disturbed by slightest emotion, easily offended. They can be inconstant, impatient, irresolute, quarrelsome, but that's not that important, just one mark symptom. But they have this changeable nature, like their mood will be changing continuously. Sometimes they will be laughing, sometimes they will be crying. That contradictory nature will be the so the changeability we can see in contradictions, which is present both in mental and physical plane. Mental conditions change rapidly in an almost incredibly short time, from joy to sorrow, from laughing to weeping. So, contradictory symptoms, when I told you in Anacardium, I told you, though I say you the, it is to show another face
Right.
or another perspective of an academic personality. But the contradictory, whenever you hear the contradictory medicine, your answer should be always ignatia because no other drug can beat ignatia for contradictions because we see in physical planes also a lot of contradictory symptoms. So they have in mental that sudden change from joy to sorrow, laughing to weeping. Yeah, maybe some films also we can see such type of lady character actually. When they are crying, they laugh. Type of women in some movies we could see. They
Yeah.
have something called as globus hystericus. Globus hystericus means something like a round
Mm.
a thing that has been or struck in the throat region. So it is related to the hysteria. That is why it is called. It's not exactly like the plug sensation we say in anacardium, no, because anacardium is having throughout their body, and for this people, I mean this condition, globus hystericus, usually seen in hysteria people, and it's in the throat region. It feels as if a lump is there, and it came from the stomach to the throat, as if she would choke. She swallows it down, but it comes right back. It is especially apt to come when she is grieved and wants to cry. So these are purely nervous sensation. You see that when we mostly in movies we see, and sometimes the dramatic children, dramatic children, they feel like when they are crying, they try to keep their hands in the throat region as if, and they uh, try to cry in such a manner that even the voice is not coming out and something is choking over there, and we get scared. Is actually because if it's kid, whether they got actually choked or something, we get scared. So that's a kind of drama queen, we can say. That feeling, it is nothing. I mean, in anacardium, when we say that blood sensation, we don't say like this, the hysteria and all. It's not related to their grief or to show that they're crying or something. But in movies, if you say, I mean, if you were a fan of Bollywood movies, you could see such characters. Usually shown in females, they are not even able to cry, that something is getting choked upon,
Mhm.
uh, the voice is not coming, and they try to keep it over the that feature. It is called as globus hystericus.
Okay.
So almost all the remedies which have got hysteria, mosquito is another remedy. They all have this globus hysterical nature. Now, I'll just start with the guiding symptoms. When I say the remedy of contradictions, there are a lot of all these sentences are about their contradictory nature. So you can see, we told that contradiction is there in the mental and the physical. We see the physical. The roaring in ears is ameliorated by music. Usually, when there is something that a roaring sensation is going, we just want to be perfect silent or tightly do something. Usually, but
Yeah.
these people, when some roaring is going on, they want still something very higher, like music. Hearing is an amelioration for them. Then piles. Piles will be aggravated, sorry, ameliorated when walking. Usually, piles will be aggravated only when they are walking.
Mhm.
Otherwise, during rest, it should be in amelioration. But in case of ignatia, when they are walking, they have a amelioration from piles. Then sore throat feels ameliorated when swallowing. Usually, when there is a sore throat, swallowing is a difficult process. You are going to feel pain when you are
Yeah.
trying even to swallow your saliva. But for them, swallowing is an amelioration. Then empty feeling in stomach, which is not ameliorated by eating. They have that empty feeling, but you eat, they eat, they are not going to feel amelioration. Cough aggravates the more he cough. The longer he coughs, the more the irritation to cough increases. So usually when the person has a tendency to cough, in cough like for about something 3 or 4, and then it ameliorates. But
Uh-huh.
here it will be like the more he coughs, the more tendency to the coughing increases. It's not going to stop.
Oh.
It will be going on increasing. Cough on standing still during a walk. Usually people feel cough when they are walking because they need extra oxygen. So they may take a deeper breath or take a cold air or something, and that brings about. But it is not during the walk. They have cough when they are standing still, not doing anything, not activity. They are doing nothing. Then they feel cough. Spasmodic laughter from grief, sexual desire with impotency, thirst during chill of fever, chill stage. During chill, we don't expect the person to have thirst, but they have a thirst, but no thirst during the fever stage. And this is very characteristic because ignatia
Oh.
is a good remedy for intermittent fever.
Okay.
Then the color changes in the face when at rest. Usually, the person has a color change or the face become reddish when he's moving about, or the blood rushes to the. But in this case, or changing his position, even when there it is at rest, the color will be changing or it become reddish. So this is the remedy of contradictions. All the things which we usually see, there should be an amelioration, or in other words, this symptom should be an aggravation. In ignatia, it will be the opposite. If for majority of person, one symptom is aggravating, for ignatia, that feature will be ameliorating, and vice versa. So that
Okay.
is why it is called as a remedy of contradictions. And they cannot bear tobacco. It produces or aggravates headache. They have oversensitiveness to pain, noise, etc. I think I'll just go through it. Can I take 5 minutes more?
Yeah, sure.
So this is a feature, cannot bear tobacco. It produces or aggravates headache. That's a feature. They're oversensitive, but that we can connect to the mental and the physical also. And the pain is in small circumscribed spots. That's an important feature, and the comparison will be calibi and oxalic acid. Even calibichromicum,
Uh,
they have a pain which can be pointed out with the tip of the finger.
oh,
They will exactly show you here is the pain forever. So that's a small spot, or with the tip of the finger they can show, means it's a in a small area, small spots. So that is the feature of ignatia. They also have that spot or circumscribe in that small area. They can show the, or the pain will be there, and that nature we can connect it to their another feature. Uh, Oh, I didn't put this symptom because when they are eating ignatia, they have switching in their nose.
they have what?
They sweat, yeah, they sweat on the face on a small spot only
Oh,
while eating. So when I was studying, I forgot to do that. Sweat down the face, a small spot only while eating. Okay, so the small circumscribed spots pain, so you can understand that it will be, if you guess if it is on the face region, just connect that symptom with the other one, because even if you forget this pain in the circumscribed spot, it doesn't matter much in ignatia, but the fifth symptom, it matters a lot. It's a characteristic feature of ignatia. Sweat on face on a small spot only, and that too only while eating, not other any other time. I used to have this, even now I have sometimes. Certain people have. So I used to think whether am I ignatia, but I'm not ignatia. Uh, when they eat, uh, maybe due to spicy food, heat, I don't know. Even my nose region, the tip of the nose, it will be getting sweaty. It used to be, but now not much. Only if I'm eating spicy food, it will be coming. But if I'm sitting in AC, no, nothing like that comes. But these people, they will be having that sweat on small spot, and that gives an indication actually, like they, what we told that sighing nature, that involuntary sighing. It is not that done by the patient. I mean, it is not said by the patient. Patient is never going to say, doctor, I do like that. I sit here and because they are not knowing also. It is an observing feature. So, like that, this is also set like an observing feature.
mm-hmm.
When if the
The
sweat is
sweat.
coming on small spots.
Mm, okay.
And during talking or chewing, they bite inside of cheek. And complaints return precisely at same hour. So that is why we can think this remedy for intermittent fevers. And Clark says ignatia to be highly effective in intermittent fevers and plague, though we never think about this medicine during intermittent fever, plague. Okay, forget it. Uh, but there has been a story, not story, an incident given by Clark actually. A particular group of people, a population, I forgot that population, in some country, whenever there is plague, that tribe used to um, attach a fruit to their body. It
Okay.
was actually ignatia, the ignacious bean, what we saw in the picture. So they used to tie it some part of their body if that area is having this plague or any intermittent fever as a protection. Like maybe their ancestors told them to tie this in their body, then you won't have fever. So they used to do that. And then while proving this one, they got the symptom the Ignatia is having action on the intermittent fever. It was the fruit was actually the Ignatia itself, that fruit that we
Oh.
saw. That itself they were tying, but they didn't know the therapeutic effect and all. Maybe it was just empirical. The ancestors told that if you tie this, you are not going to have intermittent fever. So whenever in that area, among that tribe, if there is an intermittent fever, they will be tying this fruit closer to their body, and they don't get. Later, it was proved. It was Ignatia itself. They proved and they found out Ignatia is actually having this intermittent nature, and because of that, it is good for intermittent fevers. And the
Okay.
person who actually proved this, when he came to India, he had plague. That's how the story goes. So he had plague, and at that time he tried same Ignatia, and he got cured of plague. So I just kept it because we always stress upon the mind of Ignatia a lot during exam also, because always almost always the questions will be to compare the mind of Ignatia, Natromure, and Sepia.
Oh.
So we just go like that. But the thing is, Ignatia and even Natromure. Natromure, see, I'm not sure that much. Ignatia, I mean Natromure, it is another good remedy for intermittent complaints or intermittent fever. Um, so I mean, I always remember the intermittency nature of Natromure in fever, but never of Ignatia rosacea. I'm not sure about it even now. So anyway, this one is good for intermittent fevers and plague. An aggravation from tobacco, we already saw that they cannot bear tobacco,
Uh-huh.
coffee, brandy, contact, motion, strong notice, everything. They were highly sensitive, mental emotion, grief, and also from ascarites and yawning. Amelioration, warmth, heart pressure, swallowing while eating. Uh, the swallowing process is amelioration, but even that empty stomach is not ameliorated after eating or the stomach is full. Only that process of swallowing. Maybe they feel it can be connected either if they are having sore throat, or we already told that globus hystericus nature. So they have that something struck over there, and when they are swallowing, along with that food that follows, they feel like that something that has been struck over there, it is going down, and then when it is the food had gone down, they feel like that it has come again because it's completely hysteria. So it's not a normal or some pathological condition. So that may be the reason when it says that amelioration is from swallowing. Also, I have repeated the same thing. And also from profuse watery urination. And taking an inspiration. Then this is the cutting of Hahnemann.
Okay.
Ignatia acts rapidly and the duration of its action is also short. So this is why I told you, though we see in Alan's keynote itself, they have given the sentence that persons who are mentally and physically exhausted by long concentrated grief, but still, according to Hahnemann, this is medicine that act rapidly. I mean, we get immediate action, and that duration is also short in nature. So it is best to be administered in morning if there is no hurry. If it is given bedtime, it is apt to cause too much restlessness at night, maybe because of the nervous action it has got. Relationship we told, antidoted by pulsatilla and also chamomilla, the next remedy coming in the sequence. It antidotes chamomile tea and incompatible with coffea, tabacum, and nux vomica. Tobacco, the tobacco, we saw the general aggravation. So
Uh-huh.
tobacco is actually taken from tobacco.
Uh-huh.
And coffee is also having some nervous complaints like them. But other type of, like, uh, they usually have complaints from uh, happy happiness or joyful news.
Oh, okay.
If it is sad news for Ignatia, if it in case it is a joyful news and then something happened or sleeplessness, coffee is the remedy. And then Naxwam is incompatible. Uh, Something. Yeah. This was actually a doubt to you. How we pronounce this word? Chamomile or chamomile?
Chamomile, I think.
Chamomile. Okay.
Yeah.
I always say chamomile. Chamomile.
Chamomile.
Yeah. Have you been taught this medicine? Chamomile? That's it.
Chamomile, not yet. But I learned coffee yesterday.
Oh yeah. Okay. So you should be remembering coffee symptoms. I don't remember. Okay. Just Noxvomic. Yeah. Just read and symptoms. Should I read now or no? Only this much is the.
Sorry? Uh, I can't really hear you.
Huh?
Okay, can you repeat that? Because your mic wasn't that clear.
No, I was thinking, should I read because Noxvomic is only this much? Should I read? Shall I go through?
Um,
Oh, you got tired?
I mean,
Okay, fine, leave. If you're in a confusion, we'll leave that. So we'll
all right.
continue with Naxwam, Chamomilla, and a comparison like what we did in case of the Anacardium and that one. Only the important, because here in Ignatia, I have not discussed any particulars.
Okay.
And when I have, oh, the other truth is Chamomilla, and Chamomilla has not been taken for you. So likewise, I took Ignatia. I'll be saying only the important features of Chamomilla also for you,
Okay.
and then only the particulars will do the comparison. Anyway, it will be taken in material medical in detail.
Okay.
Okay, so let's jump over here. Have you taken the screenshot?
Wait, let me do that right now. One, two, three. Okay,
Nice. Wait, wait, wait.
done. Okay.
And with that, make it stop my record. Let me stop this recording. Do I?
Wait,
I
let
don't know.
me
I just stop. I think. Let's stop.
let me send you the two screenshots.
Also from the last week also.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And the thing, tomorrow
Uh-huh.
you are having holiday, so we don't have class. Next week, Wednesday and Thursday. Oh yeah. Okay. Because I thought it is next week you are having midterm exam. No, it is
Not
after to
yet.
that week. Yeah,
Yeah.
after to that week we are having. Shall I keep the medicines, Rustrox, Bryony, etc.? That were your assignment drugs. But can I keep? Will you study?
Sorry, miss?
The Rustrox, Bryonia,
Uh-huh.
Belladonna, Hyostamonium. Shall I keep it for the midterm exam?
Um, should you keep it for the mid-sem exam as in you want to include those or
Yeah, I'm asking because I gave you that as an assignment.
uh-huh, uh-huh,
So I'm asking you, shall I
uh-huh.
ask questions from that? Or you want me to avoid that? What you do? But you have studied those drugs. And
Let's
repeated study is always good for materia medica.
I know, maybe not for mid-sem, maybe for finals.
You're becoming very lazy, okay?
Okay, I won't, don't worry.
Oh, it's okay. I mean, let us see, because I thought it's next week, the exam is. So then I
Uh,
had very less drugs. But now, you know, if it is after two, that means, okay, we'll have some drugs.
okay.
Which will be marks, okay. Okay, then. See you next week.
All right, thank you so much, Mister. Have a good holiday.
All right. You too.
Bye.